Thank you very much, Madam President. I fully and strongly support this measure, and I also want to echo the Pro Tem's remarks and express my deep gratitude to the Senator from Berkeley for her extraordinary leadership. Because of her leadership and the collaborative effort here, thousands of lives of young people will be better. So thank you. Colleagues, the lawsuit that led to this arbitrary cap of UC Berkeley's enrollment will harm thousands of California young people who are simply trying to get an education. And this emergency triage legislation will solve that immediate problem. But we also need to ask ourselves how we got here. How on earth did our system of law in California enable people to use an environmental law to dictate how many students are allowed to attend a UC campus? The answer is that tragically, a critically important environmental law, CEQA, has been distorted, but beyond recognition, to empower anyone with enough money to hire a lawyer to delay or block even the most environmentally sustainable project. The train wreck that we're resolving today at Berkeley was very high profile, and it made headlines everywhere. But let's be clear that what happened at Berkeley was not even remotely unique. What happened at Berkeley happens every day in the state of California, not in ways that generate national headlines or lots of Twitter traffic, not in ways that get thousands of people riled up, but in much quieter, smaller ways that deeply harm our state. In many ways, tragically, CEQA is the law that swallowed California. In addition to CEQA being used to arbitrarily cap UC enrollment, CEQA has been used to stop or delay bike lanes. It's been used to stop or delay trains and other public transportation. It's been used to stop clean energy projects. It's been used to stop apartment buildings literally right next to a train station. These are things that are all good for the environment. These help reduce carbon emissions, and yet CEQA tragically has been regularly used to stop or delay these climate-friendly projects. But how could that be? And the answer is that when CEQA was written 50+ years ago, climate change was not the focus of our environmental efforts. CEQA was created when any and all development was considered bad for the environment, when population growth was considered the top environmental threat, when limiting growth in cities like San Francisco and Berkeley and Santa Monica was considered pro-environment. Well, we now know that that approach, making it hard or impossible to build anything anywhere, no matter how environmentally sustainable, actually fuels climate change. And as a result, by allowing anyone who can hire a lawyer to block things like infill housing, transit, and clean energy, CEQA tragically is used and abused in a way that helps fuel climate change. When CEQA is used to stop dense urban infill development, the people who would have lived in those apartments, they don't evaporate. They're going to live further away where they have to drive more and emit more carbon emissions. When CEQA is used to stop sustainable transportation projects, people are just going to drive more. When CEQA is used to block students from enrolling at UC Berkeley, a place where people don't have to drive very much, they're just going to go somewhere else where they have to drive more and carbon emissions go up. I want to be clear, CEQA is a critically important law. I do not agree with those who say that it should be eliminated or repealed. That would be a bad idea. CEQA has done many good things in terms of slowing down or stopping projects that are actually bad for the environment, and that needs to continue. But I do agree that CEQA needs to be modernized so that it is intensely focused on climate action. That is what environmental action is about today, and that is what we need CEQA to be a tool to achieve. So let's pass this measure today. Let's let these students get an education, but let's not think for a minute that this mess was somehow an anomaly. When it comes to CEQA, this UC Berkeley train wreck isn't a bug, it's a feature. I ask for an aye vote.